Alltså så här är det va. Du kan tappa ett spö, du kan köra slut på batteriet och du kan till och med glömma att tanka. Ja, mycket hejvilt kan det bli på sjön. Det har vi lärt oss genom åren genom den här podden. Men försäkringen, det ska vara det sista som du behöver oroa dig för. Hos Atlantica får du all risk som täcker skadade fiskeprylar. Du får assistans när som helst i hela landet. Och längre sjötid, så båten är försäkrad hela året för samma låga självrisk. Kom förbi monter D113A på Sportfiskemässan och låt Atlantica bygga en försäkring anpassad för just ditt sportfiske. Och det finns även för oss fiskeguider. Atlantica ersätter nästan allt förutom den tappade drömfisken och nya kalsonger. Och skynda dig. Först till kvarn får en en jättefin fiskehandduk. Sväng förbi Atlantica på Sportfiskemässan i Jönköping. Vi syns där! Welcome back to another episode of Time is Fish International. I'm your host, Daniel Nilsson, and we are back again for part 2 of the Baroni Files. In this episode, we deep dive in his style of lure building and the fine art that is wood carving. And we also talk about if AI might be the future of lure building. Of course, we get into a lot more stuff, but now it's time to skip the small talk and head back into this fantastic conversation with Baroni, because we all know that time is fish. I mean, you are known as a bait builder, and we need to talk a little bit about the creative process of lure building here, because basically I went through your Instagram as far back as I could, and it seems like one of your biggest things to do is swim baits, hard swim baits, hand carved, multi-jointed, stuff like that. Is that correct? Is that what you enjoy the most?
It is.
Yeah,
that's what I enjoy the most. I've done quite a lot of rubber bait, plastic baits, but I stopped that because of the paint that you have to use. It is really bad for you. I started bleeding from my nose even while using a respirator. So I say, no, okay, I'm not gonna get cancer for some fucking bait.
No.
And so I went back to my old love, which is swim baits. Actually, I love, when it comes to fishing, I love glide baits and of course jerk baits, but the swim bait is challenging. As a builder, you have to be very, very precise. You have to be as symmetrical as possible, and also I don't use digital correction. Someday I will try. I will have to learn how to use a fucking software to do tiny things just to save time, but it's more challenging to make swim baits because every little mistake is gonna come back and bite you in the ass. The fact that they also have these little soft fins, which means there are different parts and different molds you have to make just for that. They look good. They sometimes also have a functionality on the movement, but it's just challenging. It's like a video game that after 20 years you play the same video game, you try to challenge yourself and you set it on hard. And so, yeah, that's probably why I fixated on swim baits. I use them, of course. I catch fish on them. I use them even when other baits would be better. But the fact of, first of all, I really enjoy making the realistic thing. I love, as I said, I love drawing fishes. I love studying the anatomy, and let's see if I can carve a piece of wood so it really resembles that. It makes me feel good. It give me endorphins. Of course, the fish doesn't give a shit about the scale count on the lateral line, but I actually do. I really enjoy the process. I enjoy keeping the thing in my hand and oh, look what I've done.
Yeah.
So I'm good at this. And
but it is a work of
really,
art.
Thank you. It's a big word, but thank you. I will take the compliment. No, that's just the satisfaction of learning how to do that. I was always fascinated by fish carvers, which, especially in the United States, is a folk art. Andrew Gardner knows very well about that. He also makes decoys, and so I studied that a little bit. Studied. It's not that I studied. I looked it up on the internet. I downloaded PDF. I watched videos of how actual fish carver do go about studying the head of the fish, the fact that this part is called neck of the fish. I never knew that fish had neck, but yeah, now it makes sense to me. And so I think it looks beautiful. It's a really nice pastime. It's very zen. It would be zen if I wasn't constantly swearing to God while I'm carving. It was also be actually, no, I really get really riled up when I do this thing, but that's really an artistic need I have. Then when it comes to fishing, that counts to a degree. It counts as much as it gives you confidence as a fisherman. Like, this bait is so good, but it swims so well, it looks so good that it must catch. And that's when you catch the fish, when you believe in what you're doing. To me, it's really something creative that I really have to do. Also, I started very young to tie flies. I was 11, 12. And it's always bothered me. Like, I like fly fishing, but I like lure fishing more. But there's always been this thing, like, this motherfucking fly fisher have this beautiful thing that they catch fish on thing they made with their hands. We have to buy the fucking spoons or wobblers. And then I say, no, not necessarily. Now I can walk tall among fly fishermen, and when they say, yeah, but we make our own shit, and I'm like, look at this. Can you do these fucking scales? And
look at my prices. These are my prices.
Yes. Yeah, the prices. If you see my prices and you confront it to the ones that are making more or less the same kind of lures in the United States, you will see who has the high prices. I have American clients that they don't believe I'm asking $70, $80, $90 for them, because when it comes to swim baits, especially 6-inch stuff, $150. They're used to that. Wow. It's a mental thing. Every country has its mental limit to that. I build my price in order to stay still affordable, even because now we have ABS swim bait. They're mass produced that cost twice of the ones I do. So, for example, in Italy, until 7-8 years ago, not a lot of people will spend 70, 80 euros for a single lure. Now, the swim bait craze is full on, and they buy them with no problem. And so it's one of the things you have to figure out as a builder, you know. Then I'm really bad. I'm asking money for people that, like, it's really part of the job I don't enjoy that much, but still, I have to pay my bills, man.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, as you said, there's these ABS factory made that cost so much now. Yeah, 200 euros for one lure. Yeah. The big
it is stupid, no?
Like the 24 centimeter, what's it called? The mega bass? Is it the slide swimmer? I mean, it costs like 120 euro or something. Yeah. And I mean, what's the name of the bream that I bought from you, the big one?
Oh, there's the battle bream.
Is that the battle bream? Okay, yeah.
Yes.
The battle bream. It's a big lure, but it's hand carved. But then you pour them, right? You hand carve and then you mold them.
Those are poured. I hand carved the master and then I mold it. Of course, for a practical reason, because if for every single bait I will have to go to that amount of detail, and the battle bream is not even, the scales are pretty big. So like I was able to carve just the scales in 2 days, but if I had to do it on every single one. Besides, I don't believe in wood for swim baits. I know Japanese, they do them, but those things fall apart. The water finds its way in. It's a big mistake using. using wood for that kind of joints in a lure that then you're actually fish. Unless you do resin inserts, the trick that I learned from Andrew Gardner.
Cool.
But it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, but
I've done it for the Bite Bash lure last year, but it's pointless. You use resin. It really goes so close to wood. The sound is slightly different, but the density is that. And it's waterproof. The water doesn't get inside. You will never break your bait because of leakage. And so, it's what I don't understand is not just the price of $200 IBS bait, is the fact that you go for the custom market, but you want the same lures that everyone else is fishing for. It really defeats the purpose of custom if everybody wants the same custom made or the same expensive lure. The great advantage is usually not the revolutionary action of a given bait, is the fact that since only 100 in the world exist, it's very unlikely that your local fish has seen them. And so you have that edge, that advantage. If everybody wants the same lure in the same size, in the same color, just go and buy a Savage Gear trout at that point. Like, really, it's not that we don't have alternative. Go on AliExpress and for €5 you have your knockoff swim baits. So that I don't understand, but that has more to do with marketing than with real fishing or lure making. So I don't know. Marketing is a crazy thing that fucks with your head.
For sure. But that's what I liked about your lures. They're so freaking detailed and beautiful. So I just had to get that battle bream. It's gonna be. I have a couple of areas that I'm gonna fish it hard this.
Now
spring.
I will send you the 25 centimeter butcher we were talking about. You're gonna have to try that, especially use it in open water, and don't be afraid to wait even 1-2 minutes to letting go down if the fish are down. But 3 meters, like you fish 3 meters, just waiting 15 seconds with that weight thing that I told you. Now, I don't think people is interested in this, but I will send you one if you give me your address.
I have some areas because I do a lot of open water fishing and over quite deep water, and I wanted, because almost all swim baits are very suspending or floating, which is quite annoying, I think. So that's why I wrote you. I need a swim bait that's like 25 centimeters that can be fished 3 meters down or something like that.
Keep in mind the point. There is a reason why it's a technical problem. The glide bait, to have a really large glide, it really has to be very close of the same density of water. The suspending. Everybody talks about suspending, but suspending doesn't really exist because one change in temperature of water and it's not going to suspend anymore. But let's say close to suspending, close to having the same specific way of water, because it has much less friction and it can go farther. The more you weight it, the faster it's going to go down, the more friction it will provoke in the joints, and so the less wide would be the glide. But you can play on that to a degree. That lure I made, it was never meant to be extremely wide anyways. It's more of a hybrid chop bait that stays in place if you use your reel. And that, in my opinion, really works well for a faster sinking bait and can be used in the deep water. I'm very curious to hear from you about that bait. I will send it to you as soon as I have it ready, because let's make open water fishing with glide bait a thing.
Yeah, it will be super cool. I'm sure that it's going to work good. So yeah, that's going to be super fun to try. But what would you say, like your process of bringing out a new lure or creating a new lure, like what does it start with? Just an idea and then you write? Or what's the first step of making a new lure?
First of all, I have to have the idea. I don't like to. Sometimes I sketch just to pass my time. But if I want to build a lure, actually, first of all, I toy with my idea in my head for a while, for a few days. And then I take a pencil and some paper. At that point, I already know how long it's going to be, what kind of shape it has to have. If I want to make a glide bit or a 3-piece or 4-piece swimmer, at that point, I spend how much time I need on the sketching board, which is paper and pencil. It's not that I'm an architect. And once I am happy, I'm completely happy with the shape, because if I'm not 100% happy with the shape, I know they're gonna leave the work halfway and fuck off to something else. So when I'm excited about the drawing I've made, I think, okay, this really deserves to exist in the 3D world. I take my piece of basswood, I cut out the drawing I've made, and I take the first measurements. And the way I work these days, I try to use the piece of wood when it's still a piece of wood, very symmetrical, factory cut. And I basically, what I do is using pencils and rulers and angle makers. The first thing I do is to draw out the exact angles of the cut of the bait that are the difficult stuff to do. At this point, the lure is still a block of wood with all those weird drawings on top that just tell me where I have to cut. At the point, I take the bandsaw and I do the cut of the body that are the important ones. And once I know that those are straight, the hole for the rod is perpendicular to the cut, at that point I cut out the body of the bait out of this. Once I'm over that part is the fun part. I start with a knife or with a Dremel and I carve. That's the fun, creative part. I carve the face of the fish, the mouth. And once I'm completely happy and excited, it can take 2 to 20 days. It really depends. I'm ready to make the mold. I hate making molds, sticky things. A lot of stuff can go wrong. But it has to be made. When I make the mold, it's probably the best part when you actually test your mold and you have the lure in your hand. If everything goes well, I have the first piece of the new lure, and I run on the water or on the public fountains of Florence to test it. Yeah. And at the point, if I had a good idea, I've done everything okay, and the lure works, I'm happy and I feel like a fucking genius, even if I just made a lure like many other people do in the world. If it doesn't work, I cry a lot. I cry, I swear, I come home and beat up my family, as we said.
Is that the first testing phase? Is that when you have already made the master and you mold it? Is that when you test it the first time? You don't test the wooden part?
No, I don't, because in the end, it will fuck up the weight, the master, and it's really hard to get the right weighting. I do a quick test to see how is the stance of the lure while it's falling down in the water, but no, I usually wait to have the real thing. Because it can really be misleading. The change between wood and resin, it can be tricky because a lot of other things change, because in the final piece you have parts that you don't have in the wood masters, like all the hardware. No, at the point, I am to a point where I'm usually pretty confident of what I'm doing. Like if there is an obvious mistake, I don't mold until I'm pretty confident that the thing is gonna work. But every now and then it works. Like the whitefish I made before Bait Bash, the first version was 3 pieces. That was a disaster, man, a shit show. When I put it in the water, I say, I can't believe it. How? What the fuck? I saved it, captain again, and now it's a 5-piece swimmer. Works really fine, really nice bait. But still, it burns my pride that I didn't see that coming. I was sure, okay, of course this one is gonna work. It didn't. Like, I was so sad, man.
But
it's part of it.
Is a lot of the, like, because you make the master, you mold it, and then you assemble it, and then you need to try it. But it's a lot of stuff. Can you by fine tuning, can you correct a lot of the mistakes in the end by fine tuning?
Unless the design itself is flawed to begin with, and that's why you cry when you take it out of the mold, and then you go back and hit your family. Yes, usually there is always some fine tuning to be done to the lure, but at that point is mostly once you have figured out where to put the ballast and the weights, it's just a matter of screwing and unscrewing the
hinges.
Steel screw that. The hinges.
Mm-hmm.
And that really a little goes a long way, but of course, if you have a 2-piece bait, you only have 2 screws to tune, which can be an advantage sometimes. Sometimes it's a pain in the ass because you always have to double check. That's one of the reasons it takes a lot of time. You have to check after painting because since we're fishing for pike, we put 2, 3, 4 layers of epoxy resin in the end to cover the paint job and to protect it from the pike teeth. Even if would not be really important because it's not wood. You don't have the problem with a crankbait or a wooden jerkbait because even if a pike destroys the lure with his teeth, it would never go to a point where water is going to get inside. I just do it because since it takes me an hour to complete one paint job, I want that paint job to last. And then I like a smooth lure. I think they really go better through the water. And then it's a habit. I'm a European and I clear coat as a European. Americans, usually they just make an automotive spray paint. It's good enough for them and for the bass.
Oh, yeah. But it's a big difference with pike. They need a lot of resin.
I was raised differently. So you have to double check because an excess of resin can slightly change the action of the lure, and you have to be ready to fine tune, to modify. One thing that I learned is when you do it professionally, when you do it as a job, it's not that you learn how not to make mistake, but you learn a lot of way to resolve the mistake you made. I think that is what made the difference. Now, I still fuck up baits to these days, but now I know how to remedy the fuck up I constantly continue to make. So it takes time because moving parts, fine tuning, but yeah, you have to learn a little bit about chemicals, a little bit about woodworking, a lot about how paint, what an acrylic paint is. Things that until I started making it for a job, I never really took the time to study those things. But it's a rabbit hole. There's so many different disciplines inside lure making, especially if you are pretty creative about that. Like you can steal techniques from model makings, from murals artists, from artisans. There is no limit on what you can do, honestly. So it's always fun. And I have plenty of ideas still. So
what do you think? I have a couple of questions more for you here, but we'll do those right away. Like, what was your biggest realization or epiphany in lure making? Like your biggest aha? Like that moment.
As a lure maker or as an angler? As a lure maker, that's a nice question. My aha moment is that I should have prepared this because there is a lot of tiny aha moments, but in the end, I believe that oh shit. Can we please come to this later? Give me the other question first. Because I had so many aha moments, but nothing is probably very significant for people who doesn't do this.
It doesn't have to be a fantastic, but just something that was like, Ah, shit. Like maybe like all the epoxy resin, like how much that affects the lure, or how much the weighting affects the lure, or like something that was like, oh shit, I didn't think about that. That was like a big deal.
I had so many. For example, realizing that that you can manipulate the time, the pot time of epoxy resin, and not only epoxy resin, just playing with how thin, how big the container you use, which means if you epoxy is tricky because if you put it on the lure too early, it's gonna create this messy how they're called build-ups on the wrong part of the lure. You have to wait until it's very thick. But if you wait until it's very thick, at that point you have a very short windows before it becomes a solid gel and you cannot be spread with a thing anymore. Then I realized that to prevent that, you can just use like a basin, like a plate, a wooden plate or a plastic plate, and spread it really thin. That really stretches your work time even for hours. That allowed me to mix a single batch of it, maybe at 6 in the morning. After 3-4 hours, it's time to give the first layer. And at that point, since I put my rotating lures while they dry up in the it's an enclosed cabinet I built, and I have reptile lamps, so it's very hot inside. I can take the leftover resin, I put it in the fridge at 2 degrees, and after 1 hour and a half, I can use the same batch to give a second coat and so on. That allowed me to really shrink the time I need to make 3-4 full 3-4 coats of lures. Like then it would take me 1 week to make 4 coats. Now I know how to do it in 2 days and a half. And that was a aha moment, like now I have the power of manipulating chemicals. But another aha moment was that people buy lures by the face of the lure. Believe it or not, yes. There are, if you really, it's something that we have done with dogs, man. If the lure look in a certain way, people will want to have the lure. Like, oh, it's so fucking cool. Miss a detail and you won't get that many requests. I've done it so many times. I came up with a lure, nobody's interested. Then I go back to the molding process, add a little details like a ridge on the eye or a little bit more mouth. I remold the lure, I put it, and I start selling them. I don't know. There is like an algorithm there to be discovered.
A biological algorithm.
Yeah. Something that speaks to the mind of the fisherman. Say, I need to have this. Like, what difference can it make? Nothing. But it's just toys. Those are toys for grown-ups.
In the face of the lure. Like
specifically, not just in the face, but very often because the face and the eye is the first thing that catch the eye.
Yeah.
So the eye of the potential buyer. So yes, that really makes. The thing is, lure needs to be pretty, to be so it can be bought by many people. People can catch fish on that, and then will be a lure that is sought after. For an ugly lure to become successful, really has to be successful. The Strict Musket Thriller again, ugly as fuck. But it was banned from certain lakes because it caught too much. I don't believe it's true. It might have been some marketing bullshit because never believed the stories, but apparently it's still 100 years later we still have it in shops.
But if a lure has a reputation of being banned in lakes because it's too effective, I mean, even if that's bullshit, just to have that reputation of your lure, even to have that story being told of your lure, it's a fucking win.
Of course, yes. People would buy literally.
If you heard people in Ireland or something be talking about, oh, you heard that Baroni battle bream? It's apparently it's illegal to fish in a lot of German lakes because it's too effective. People will be like, oh shit. I mean, you would be proud if that reputation would be around your lures.
But you you realize how much it sounds like I came up with that fake news to sell more lure. I have 10% battery left. Wow.
Oh shit! Do you have a charger? Okay.
Okay, I think I know that thing you had in your hands.
Yeah, for all of you that can't see here, I'm standing here naked in front of Baroni.
I'm slowly stripping down.
I had to run down in my basement to my fishing room and grab the battle beam because it's cool. I didn't have too many 4-aught hooks, so I actually put you can see that the treble hook with the UV.
Perfect.
It looked quite cool, but I'm not a super fan of those UV hooks already, but it's going to be super fun to try this lure. But here, like, the details is freaking amazing. And you can really see that you put a lot of emphasis into the carvings of the face, as you were talking about.
Yes, exactly. That's my favorite part. It's something that I've started doing it. I think I'm finally just now finding my style, my way. And one of those dramatic faces, like where I really carved the bones, like it was a skull of a fish, you know. Mm-hmm. And I really enjoy doing it. It's kind of something that I'm doing more and more often because I think it looks cool.
Yeah.
It really takes good pictures because all those sockets, those very deep lines, they catch light. It's very easy to make them look good when you paint them because you don't have to do much with the airbrush. It's a 3D object, so you don't have to simulate anything because I'm really bad with an airbrush.
Are you bad with the airbrush?
Good. I am. I use 15 euros airbrush I buy off Amazon, and when I destroy them, I just throw them away. I know it's really not very sustainable, but I'm messy. I prefer to do the job in the carving process. I prefer to take 2 weeks to do all the details, and once you have the details, you just spray something on top, and it's gonna look good. Because if you want to see real masters using airbrush, you have to probably to look at people like Joe Peterson, the guppy guy.
Oh yeah, he's super good.
He's incredible. He came up with his own style. Hello, Joe. He's a terrific guy. I never met him in person, but I really love his stuff.
He used to come to the Swedish Sport Fishing Fair every year before. He's super nice. Yeah, I'm actually going to try to get him on the show here in the future.
Oh, that would be amazing. That would be
super fun. He's super nice guy.
Yeah.
But how much of because you can really see it really makes the lure pop with all of the contours, the 3D effects of the carving and the shaping of the wood, because you have, as you said, a lot of people may be more advanced with the airbrush, but you can really see the carving in your lures. And I think also that you can see that in Andrew Gardner's lures also. He does a lot of carving. It's
kind of what I like to think is more of my style. Mm-hmm. Nothing that I invented, of course. Just copied and took notes, seeing people doing fish carvings or decoration things. I mean, carving is fun, like removing stuff until you have what you really want to be there. In lure building, there is a lot of people that do carving, that carve the details, that carve the scales. Not a lot of people carve the actual shape of the body of the fish, like the belly, all those muscles that lead to the dorsal fin. If you remove the skin from a fish, and as I said, I love to eat and I love to cook. I've done that a lot of time. There are rays, there are bones, there are muscles, fiber that goes in the direction, and I started to implement that in baits. They look good, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. It's not always easy, but sometimes it's really worth the extra work.
Yeah, but also, you can really see here because you carve out here along the middle of the shape of the
Yeah,
fish. You have the
the
back is
lateral line.
emphasized, and as you said, the
Yeah.
fins and the belly is very emphasized, and that's something very unusual. It looks more like a decoy that you put a lot of time into, more than a fishing lure. Like, but is it
All stuff
mostly
that I
hand
saw.
painted?
Oh yeah. I also love to hand paint. I use a mix of techniques. I start with the airbrush, then I use a lot of leaf, gold leaf, silver leaf. It's imitation gold and imitation silver because I think it's pointless to use real gold. It would be super expensive, and especially the real gold leaf, it makes sense for the original things you would use that, which is decorating frames for artwork or pieces of furniture, because gold, real gold, does not oxide. It doesn't change color over time. But since those things are made for fishing and eventually we'll get 2 or 3 layers of epoxy on top, really there's no real advantage on using real gold or real silver. But maybe if someday I will get some sheikh or some very rich people from Saudi Arabia or Dubai paying me to make bait, at that point, yeah, no problem, I will use real gold. They have to pay me before to buy the gold, though. So as lure building go, there's really the imitation gold and silver are perfect. They are the most reflective thing that you can find in the end, because we have chrome paints, but the point you put on top any kind of clear coating, they're gonna lose that mirror effect. So kind of useless.
And
Bye.
but do you paint all these scales basically with a small brush?
With a brush, yes.
So you give it
I
a quick
put there-
overall appearance with the airbrush, and then you start painting it with the actual small brush.
Yeah, it's a lot of layers. Usually I do a first base with the airbrush, and for some patterns like the brown trout, trouts in general, especially the brown trout, there is a lot of it's called it has a name in modeling. It's some, but anyways, you put first a strong dark color, and then you build lighter colors on top. For example, and you can play a lot. For example, you want to do a light green. Green is the result of yellow and blue mixed together. And so instead of putting a green, you can put the blue underneath and the yellow on top, so that you have a green, but it's a multi-layer green. You can play, and some top is going to be more blue, some others going to be more yellow. It ends up being more natural. And speaking of aha moment, epiphanies, I had another one. If you're trying to reproduce real fish, to be realistic, to go after realism, is very good that you are messy as I am, because fish in nature are imperfect. They are fucking ugly. That's why when you catch a perfect fish, we take pictures of them and say, look how beautiful that is. But that's the exception. That's the supermodel of fish. But most of the fish, the scales are irregular. They are not in perfect rows. And I realized that when last year I painted like 400 glide baits for mollicks. And those are, of course, perfectly designed, computer designed and corrected. That they are really well groomed and perfect in perfect rows. And my techniques, of course, look good on that, but look better on my lures because mine are fucking imperfect. I make mistakes carving the scale. They're all a little different one from the other. And that's what gives it the realism.
Yeah.
And the fact that painting really dirty the way I do, I use a lot of layers that makes a bit of a mess. In the end, it looks organic. And so that's something I realized. Strive for precision, but no, you will never achieve precision. It's like a drummer, a good drummer. Of course, it stays on time, no? But it will never be able to be perfectly on time. That is the work of a drum machine. Only the drum machine gives you a different kind of result. It's perfect, it's constantly on time, but it has less feeling and less warmth in the struggle. And I think it's something similar.
Yeah. I completely agree. And that's what makes it beautiful, the small imperfections and actually all the different details. But something that I've also realized, I saw it already very clearly on the Molix glides. Actually, it was one of your signature things, I would say, is that you paint a couple of scales differently. Put maybe a red color in some of the scales. And this particular one that I'm holding here has the silver. A bunch of scales are silver, so they're like popping a bit from all the other scales, which is a super cool feature and a fun way of really putting your own touch to the lure. And I saw it really well on the Molix models. You could see that this is Baroni.
Yeah. I hope that is, because it's really, if my stuff is recognizable, I think it's the best achievement. Being able to be spotted, like, oh, the author is Baroni, and I think that's all somebody can ask of any kind of artisanate or creative, again, process or something, to be recognizable just for the work you do. So I hope that's true, man. Thank you. That's a big compliment.
I don't know. How much, we were talking about fine-tuning before, like how much difference, because you mold them all in the same mold, and say that you molded 10 lures, 10 of these battle breams, and then you head down to your local fountain in Florence, and now you're gonna fine-tune them. How much, if you fine-tune one, can you replicate that on the other 9, or does everyone need kind of a lot of specific modification to make them run?
Both things. Sometimes no. Sometimes each one of them requires some correction, and we're talking about I might have to drill out a little bit of weight, because in the process of mixing resin, you trap air at some point.
Okay, yeah.
And so that can change even slightly the synchrate. So you might want to remove some lead with a drill, or sometimes you want to add. That's a pain in the ass, but has to be done. I have to do that individually for all of them. And then every now and then you make the odd one that doesn't want to swim, or swim on the side. And that is really frustrating, because sometimes it's just a matter of tuning really half a turn of one of the 5 screws it has in its body, and you solve the problem. Some other times it just wants to go on one side. At that point, you cannot sell that bait, but I keep it for myself, and very often those are the baits that catch more.
Yeah.
But of course, if you spend good money for a lure like that, it cannot go on one side, So you have to go the normal ones. They are sold. The others, I keep them and I fish them. And it's something that, of course, pike don't see very often, a lure that goes sideways, and it fucking works sometimes.
I mean, actually, from all of the talk of heavy pressured waters we were talking about before, I mean, those lures that go a little bit freaky, you should bring them to shows also and market them as odd lures. I mean, they have a specific place, hard pressured waters. It's something different. Of course, that would sell, wouldn't it?
I can try. It might be an idea. It's honestly, it's something that I can do with friends or people I know that share my same view or my same approach to fishing. Because honestly, I'm not very comfortable with the idea that there are lures made by me out there. Then you know how the market is. Those people, then maybe in 1 year or so, they resell it.
Okay. Yeah. I understand.
For another hand. And who knows that in 5 years, there is my name in a lure that goes sideways. And of course, nobody knows that the original buyer bought it for that reason. And still I have a bait with my name that swims untrue. And hence, people will think I'm a shitty builder. Yeah. So it might come back and bite my ass. I prefer to just deliver classic swimming bait, because That's another thing. I like odd lures that don't swim right out of the box. I like to tinker with my stuff. I always done that. Add weight, remove weight, bend this thing, use it in an unconventional ways. But these days, what people expect when they buy a lure, especially an expensive one, is something that works right outside of the box. They want to be able to cast, retrieve it, and hopefully catch a fish. Not everybody has the culture, fishing culture, of saying, I wanna get in touch, in tune with this lure, learn how to use it my way. That is something that is not so common in the end. Probably somebody who started fishing for pike with those classic jerk baits and dive baits that we were talking about will be more prone to personalize the use of the lure. But for the general public, and everybody now is using those kind of lures, so it's realistic to think that an advanced lure like a glide bait that can be used in so many ways is going to end up in the hands of somebody who has not a lot of experience, and they just will want to cast and retrieve it. So I have to keep that into account. You see, understand what I say, no?
Yeah, exactly. Understand.
So it's better be on the safe side. That's the reason why I tend not to give lures that you can modify, undoing, or tighten the screw eyes like a lot of builders are doing, especially in the United States, because I know people, the more option you give them, the more they will mess up. And when they mess up, they put back the bait together. It won't swim as it's supposed to swim, and then you are the shitty builder. So better avoid that.
I think that's a good way of looking at it, because I mean, yeah, I think you're completely right in that sense. Since I worked with a big company before making lures for many years, I have noticed one thing: the more advanced a lure is, of course, some people will like the different styles you can do with it and stuff, but the more advanced it is, the more fuck-ups it's going to create, the less it's going to sell, because it's in the end, people just want a lure that fishes really good, that is affordable, and it shouldn't have to require a lot of specific trimming or stuff like that. So, of course, you are not affordable, but I understand the other aspects of it. I mean, you're affordable, sorry, that was not the right word. They are quite cheap, I think, for what the product you get, the time behind them and the details, if you compare it to lures that are much more expensive, that are reproduced in a factory. But you understand what I mean there.
Completely understand. Also, keep in mind that people, especially now that the news goes viral and everything becomes a meme in second, if somebody says this lure is shit, and it says in a funny way, then this is gonna become like a cliche. Everybody will say that. It happens all the time to people and to brands who don't deserve it, actually. Like everybody, when you say this is made in China, everybody in the world just assume it's shit. Like, that's not the case. When you say factory made, you just assume low quality, which is not true anymore. It was maybe 20 years ago. Now, what comes out of factory is usually more consistent and precise than even the best artisan. You go to an artisan to have something made because it has a unique flavor, not just necessarily for the superior quality. The things that I've seen in the I had, as I said, 400 blanks, factory-made blanks from Molix, and they were perfect. They didn't have those systematic problems that used to be normal for factory-made lures 20 years ago. I remember buying Rapalas that would fall apart, take water inside, fishing them for West catfish. In more than an occasion, I just retrieved the diving lip with no lures. The fish went there because apparently it turns out that back then Rapala changed the factory glue they used, and that started happening too often. But these days is not the case anymore. The quality, assuming that the brand has found the right factory and the right manufacturer, the quality is incredible. Everything is digitally controlled. The molds are incredibly precise. The process are state of the art. So I don't know why I said that, but
but the factory quality is extremely high.
But people still think that it's pity because it's funny to think that, and it's been 20 years that people repeat that. And so it's better if you have a product to be more to be a lot conscious of what you're putting out there. Thinking about giving away the one that swims slightly oddly. Better if you don't.
Yeah. I understand exactly what you mean now when speaking of it. But when you make these lures, when you make the mold, do you put like several cavities in the belly or something where you adjust the weight afterwards, or do you have to drill for every weight that you insert?
I made my molds in such a way that I can already put all of the hardware in the position that I want it to be there. So the screws, even though later I will have to fine tune them, and the weights, the lead weights, they're inside of the mold, and I pour the resin on top of them. More or less, I know I can figure out from the beginning where the biggest ballast and central weight is going to be in the lure. There are ways to figure it out even before making the mold when you have the wooden master. I just balance the lure and I say, okay, here we have one center of gravity, then we have another one here, and more or less I can figure out where the weight needs to be placed. So at that point, it's just a matter of finding the right recipes, like micro balloons versus how much weight has to be put in specific places. But I tend to make molds in such a way that once I remove the bait from the molds, it's almost 100% there. And if I have minor adjustment, drill out some bit of weight, or add 1 or 2 grams of weight, it's easier to do. So yeah, I don't have to drill each one of them like it was a single lure. I know where the lure weights most of the time. And other times I don't know shit, and then I cry a lot. But usually now I figured that out more or less.
I could bet that it's
where you put the weight, and they tend to be always the same place.
I can bet that it's better to invest time in making a good mold than having to fine tune every little piece afterwards. Like if it takes 1 week more to make the mold, or 2 days or something, I bet that's more important, or that's better invested time than in the end fine tuning everything to a certain degree.
Look, so many times I've remade molds that just because one detail was annoying, that forced me every time to take every single lure and correct that stupid bit, maybe a bubble of air that went up in the wrong place. So yeah, having a mold that actually works is really a great time saver. You know, again, it's not a controlled environment like a factory. It's still homemade stuff. Like I do those in my kitchen and in my little room. Sometimes it goes better than other times. As I said before, it's more valuable to learn how to repair the mistakes. Then you will never stop making mistakes eventually. Some of them you learn from them. And you can get new ideas from mistakes you made. So, but again, it's still part of the process. That's why I always test everything twice, before painting and after clear coating, because with these little bitches of baits, you never know if they're gonna swim properly.
Cool. How many lures do you make every year, would you say? around?
I don't know. I never counted them, really. Oh, because I have several models, I have like 12, 13 models of the time. Then I rotate between them. At some point, I really get bored of one and I have new stuff. I make like 2 to 15 new lure models every year, and not all of them they are good enough to be given to people. So it's really hard to keep track because a lot of them are also for myself, for my friend, or just experiments in colors that then nobody wants because they're too odd. So I really don't know. I should really calculate that.
I am not the IRS. You don't have to calculate it for me.
Okay, thank you. I don't know, 150. It never occurred to me to go and count.
But do you have a website where you have them like for sale, or do you drop stuff on your Instagram? How do people go about buying your lures?
I don't even do drops. People write me on Instagram usually. I don't have a website because I'm a lazy fuck. It's been 5 years. I say, okay, next year I'm gonna do the fucking website, and then gonna do drops like the grown-ups, but then I never do. My mind is all over the place. And right now, I have a carving of a perch somewhere that I started, and meanwhile, I have other 3 designs that I really want to do, but I have to finish a few lures for Molix, and then I have so many things that I don't have the time and the will, to be honest, to stay behind the website shit. Sorry. But yeah, I should definitely have a website like normal people. But what you're gonna do? People usually write me on Instagram. Every week or 2, I take a few hours to answer the message in the inbox. I usually take orders, and I make that batch of baits. 10, 15 days, they're ready to be sold, to be shipped.
Cool. So if somebody wants to buy your lures, it's basically contact you on Instagram. Is that the best way?
Exactly. That's the way it goes usually.
Yeah, and if somebody wants to find your Instagram, it's gonna be tagged in the episode picture on timeisfish_international. And if you're in the Scandinavian version, you can find it in the Bait Bash episode, because of course I have posted a picture of your weird ass lure and also the picture of you as baby Jesus. Damn, I laughed. That's fantastic.
I love dressing up of baby Jesus. I love obscenity.
So I had to write in the photo that it's not AI, because people thought it was AI because it looks too good.
Yeah.
So I had to freaking write not AI. And I think that's something that I've reacted on lately, because I like taking photos. I am a hobby photographer, and I've done a lot of photos like in my line of work and stuff before, and it's something I really appreciate, and that's why I like Instagram also from the beginning, because it's only photos. Now of course it's ruined with the videos, but nowadays it's like we talked about with the pike. If you see a 125 centimeter pike, you don't really get crazy about it, because maybe it's a live scope pike and it doesn't feel as cool or as fun or as much of an achievement.
Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second. I have people that have to repair my boiler.
Boiler?
Oh, give me 1 second. I let
yeah,
this guy
for sure,
in.
Dude. Alltså så här är det, va. Du kan tappa ett spö, du kan köra slut på batteriet och du kan till och med glömma att tanka. Ja, mycket hejvilt kan det bli på sjön. Det har vi lärt oss genom åren genom den här podden. Men försäkringen, det ska vara det sista som du behöver oroa dig för. Hos Atlantica får du all risk som täcker skadade fiskeprylar. Du får assistans när som helst i hela landet. Och längre sjötid, så båten är försäkrad hela året för samma låga självrisk. Kom förbi monter D113A på Sportfiskemässan och låt Atlantica bygga en försäkring anpassad för just ditt sportfiske. Och det finns även för oss fiskeguider. Atlantica ersätter nästan allt förutom den tappade drömfisken och nya kalsonger. Och skynda dig. Först till kvarn får en hejvilthand... jag menar en jättefin fiskehandduk. Sväng förbi Atlantica på Sportfiskemässan i Jönköping. Vi syns där!
Can you hear me?
Yes sir, yes sir.
Oh yeah, better.
Yeah, but what I was saying there with the photos, like I get that feeling now because when we were talking about the AI thing, I think AI has basically ruined the way I look at photos, because before when I saw a nice photo, I was like, oh, cool, because for me it's craftsmanship. It's a lot of pride behind a nice photo. But now it's like, is that AI? Is that like people can just prompt whatever shit they want and they're going to have this beautiful photo and they can post it, and it feels like it's just fake. So I react the same with photos now as a big pike. It's like, is it real or is it not? Like I think it's a sad way. Like when I posted a photo of you as baby Jesus, I was like, oh, a lot of people is going to think this is AI, and that takes the whole fun part out of it.
Yeah, I know exactly. If it's made with AI, it's not fun at all.
No.
Simply, it would defeat the purpose of the. Oh, sorry. No, I completely understand. Especially if you're a photographer, it can actually piss you off. Just imagine if you are, I don't know, somebody who makes comics or illustration.
Yeah,
people are pretty pissed off.
Yeah, and the animation business and all of this, like, just making logos. All of these businesses are in serious trouble. Seriously troubled right now.
Yes.
It's horrible.
Yes. It's sad because this is going to eat up all of the little tasks, the little gigs for these people. Like, if you are a graphic designer or if you're a musician that has to do jingles, and now it's just you have it done like in 1 minute.
Yeah.
With AI, and all those little part of the jobs that maybe in the end for a lot of people was like the day-to-day to pay the bills and the rent, those are gone, man. It's like a logo.
Think about also
500.
The future of lure designing. I mean, make a scale pattern for me. Make a 3D print, 3D printable image, to prompt into a 3D printer. I mean,
it's already there.
Yeah, it's gonna take a lot of fun out of this craftsmanship also. But the more digitalized, it's gonna be more exclusive with hand carved. I think. I hope so.
Keep in mind that a lure in the end is not also just about the design. It actually has to swim. At this point, if you ask ChatGPT or any other AI to design you a lure, it's either going to be a perfect copy or somebody that exists, or it's going to be something that there is no way it's going to work. But yeah, we're going to get there in very often, probably. That's why, to me, one thing that, like the website, that I don't do because I'm lazy, but the moment I will decide to do it, I will obsess over it, is to actually learn some design, some 3D design, because it's something you have to know how to do it. You don't have to use it if you don't want to, but if you don't know that kind of technology, you're going to be left behind. And I would like to have this working for me instead. And also AI can be, if you integrate it, if you are the mind using that, you're going to be on the winning side of this thing. The point is, if you're going to get it passively, it can be a great thing. Like, I don't know, let's say I'm designing a lure on a software, and instead of going through every single scale, you can just tell the AI function, like, look, do the same, only following that kind of line. Then I'm going to come later to mess them up in a way that it looks more organic, which, to be honest, it's something that when I was making music, I was doing some mixing and producing, we used to do that all the time. You had to program the macro command in your computer, and the machine would just design a kick drum or keyboard line, then you would go over and check if they did it correctly. It's something that has been existing for decades. Only now it's accessible by everyone without having to learn how to communicate to the machine. But this is basically computer software. Now everybody can use it. That's the thing. But what you're gonna do? You cannot fight against that. It's where we are headed. So it's better if you learn how to use it properly and to integrate that in whatever is your job.
I think that's a great way of looking at it.
I think that's the only way to look at it, because what are the alternatives? It's here to stay. Yeah, it's like being against the live technology in fishing. There is a region in Italy, they banned the fucking live technology on the Lake Maggiore. What's the point in that? That's just stupid. You cannot win. You cannot win.
That's interesting. They're starting to. There's a couple of Sander lakes here in Sweden that have banned it. I think that I had Freddie Harbut from Germany. He was on the podcast, and he talked about how they regulate live scope in Germany, which was very creative and a very good way.
How did they do?
Oh, you have to listen to the episode. I'll send you the link later.
I will.
You should listen to it because he explained it really, really good. I don't want to re-explain it all, but it was a really good compromise that I think cleared it out for both sides. But it does take a bit of work from the the fishing police, or what do you call them? Of course, they need to be there checking it, because it doesn't matter how much rules you have if you don't have someone that checks on people to follow the rules. So it takes a little bit of time.
Right.
But it was a very. I'm going to send you the link to the Freddie Harbut episode, because it's a very interesting take. I think was a very modern way of looking at it, so that you get a regulation but not a prohibition.
Please do. That's very interesting. I love the pragmatism of the Germans for these things. So we have to. Yes, later when I'm gonna be painting, I will listen to the episode, because that's really a big thing. It's gonna change things. Also, the life have already changed. Finding a way to regulate it in a smart way.
Yeah, because just forbidding it is, I think that's quite lazy. To just say, oh, we don't really understand it, we just forbid it, and I think that's an easy way out. It's like
also because here what they did here, I think they just forbid the whole fish finder thing, which really cuts out even the classic fish finder. Like, what the hell, man? And that's stupid. But I'm curious. I will listen to the episode. I will listen to all of the episodes since I discovered your podcast.
But there's a couple of the international version now. I work more with the Scandinavian one. I release one episode every Tuesday, and then I have special episodes also. But the international is fun. I'm growing it slowly, but I need to put most focus on the Scandinavian one. But it's fun to do some cool episode like this. I want to do more of them with especially other Europeans, because we can learn so much. And I mean, the characters in the sport fishing industry, I mean, just look at yourself. Come on. It's really, really funny to meet guys like you. It's an honor for me to have these conversations, and being at fairs,
It's an honor for me. Trust me, it's an honor for me. A few years ago, I would never have believed that I could have been invited to something like this. So thank you. It's my honor.
I'm glad you wanted to participate and spread some joy. And I know there's a lot of people here in Sweden that are going to appreciate this episode, and hopefully some people out in Europe also. And I'm looking forward, because it's freaking horrible. The snow is pouring down today. We have it's looking like it's going to be minus degrees as far as my eye can see now. And I just want to go out and cast this freaking huge bream. Oh, man. I'm looking forward to this season. It's going to be fun. I love pike fishing, and I can't wait to do it. It is. Cool, dude. But I think we're going to round it off right there. And I just want to say a huge thanks to you, and for the people listening. To find you on social media, on Instagram, it's Suor Balordo.
Yes.
and on Facebook.
Sorry, guys. At this point, I'm not changing the name. On Facebook, it's easier. Is Baroni Bates.
Yeah.
Because look, the genius of the marketing I am. 3 social networks: Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. I have 3 different names.
And what's on TikTok though?
On TikTok is Big Bait Maker. I don't know. I'm an idiot, man. But yeah, also Big Bait Maker. I got viral for a while on TikTok. So you should find me. Big Bait Maker.
Yeah, cool. And if people want to find you easily on Instagram, timeisfish_international, you can find you're tagged in the photo and in the text of this episode. It's funny, this whole story you said now that you got viral on TikTok, but I think that has to do with you trying lures in the fountains of Florence, right?
Actually, that one, I was in a fountain of Florence, but people didn't realize that. The point is, for some reason, it started going viral at night in Southeast Asia. I posted this video like at 11 p.m. before going to sleep. I wake up in the morning, and trust me, I had 5 followers on TikTok, 5. And I woke up in the morning because TikTok is incredible. It's like an Instagram on steroids.
But the algorithms are much better on TikTok.
Yes. And that's why Instagram are struggling to stay. They are behind the Chinese algorithm, but they are not as good as TikTok is.
No.
And then in the morning I wake up and I got like 30,000 views, and I got from 5 to 2,000 followers. Used to Instagram, I say, what the fuck happened? And then I refresh the page and see this count going on: 100,000 views, 200,000 views, because it's incredible. And then in one day I hit 1 million views, and all these people writing down in Filipino language, because another alphabet, it's not even easy to translate. I don't know what these people are saying. Like I was starting to get worried, like probably I have no idea. Then they come the Arabs, they start writing in Arab, and I say, what the fuck is that? No, really, that beats me. And I was over 1 million views, and in 2 days I gained the 10,000 followers that you needed in order to access the creator fund of the time of TikTok. And of course I joined immediately. I say, free money, for fuck's sake. Yes. And I started posting shit, because Instagram at least used to punish you if you overpost, because they take you for a spammer or a bot, and they shut you, and they basically shadow ban you. TikTok I don't know now, but it used not to give a shit about that. The more you post, the more chances you have to send videos viral, because it was really when the planet aligned, and if aligned at the right moment, and the same people at the same time comment or watch more than once, the algorithm just push it over the world and you skyrocket in 1 second. The video, it's still there, it's pinned on top. It's the blank of one of my big trout that is swimming up and forth in a fountain of Florence. A lot of people, because it wasn't catered to fishermen, a lot of people thought that was a real albino fish, maybe because it's white. So they watch it over and over again, because it was also 15 seconds, not even, a very short video.
Oh, okay.
And so, of course, the algorithm interpret that like, a lot of interest. This must be such a cool content. Let's push it. And then it made all the way around the world, and I started finally commenting in English, in Spanish, which I can understand a little bit. And I realized most of the thing, half of them was, you should fish where fish are, not in a fountain, ha, ha, ha. Other third of them was, what are you gonna catch? Sharks? I swear, in several languages. You go translate them, shark. The same fucking joke, man.
As we were talking about before.
Yeah, exactly. The human mind works the same way else everywhere in the world. That's why racism is bullshit. Like, our brains are the same.
Yeah.
And then it happens on another video that was very similar, happens even worse, and that video got 48 million, because people thought that I was torturing an animal. It was a real fish that I was just walking around in the fountain. And so I got a lot of shit from animalist people, from associations. And I was like, dude, look, it's a fucking piece of plastic resin in my case. And so, yeah, that's the crazy world we live in now. It's amazing. And until they shut the fund in February of last year, every day I gain like 20, 30 bucks, nothing but enough for go drinking with friends. With the money of the Chinese corporation and raised by angry people who had no idea what they were watching. So that's crazy. But I swear the videos are there.
That's funny. That's really that's a nice way of taking hate and making it into beer. It's fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what you're gonna do? Look at the sunny side of life.
Yeah, that's a beautiful way of ending this podcast, dude. Hey, man, I am so glad that you took your time and did this with me, and I can't wait to see you. I don't know when we're gonna meet the next time, but if you ever want to come pike fishing in Sweden, you are very welcome. I would bring you. I will.
It's 3 times in Sweden and never fished because there was always ice and snow. But so it's time for a trip to actually try and catch something.
Yeah.
I was so happy.
You just tell me when you want to come here and I'm going to bring you. We're going to have a good time. I promise.
I swear. And I will cover you in baits.
Yeah. Dude, I got the battle bream. We're going to try it.
Daniel, it was amazing, really. Thank you for having me, and thank you to all the people that really went through this. It's so nice to be appreciated. But so, thanks a lot.
Thank you so much for taking your time and listening to this episode. I really hope that you found it entertaining, and maybe, just maybe, you could also learn a thing or two. If you liked it, please share it to your friends and tag timeisfish_international on Instagram. That would help me a lot to get this show out to more people. If you have suggestions for topics or new guests, feel free to contact me via the Instagram account. Thank you so much for listening. Have a fantastic day or night, and I'll see you on the water.